What is this character really about? In Batman's case, young Bruce Wayne sees his parents killed in a random street mugging. Well, it's a perfect origin. You say that and you understand what motivates the character.
It's about a boy who loses his parents and can never overcome the grief for that. I think that's his story, and that's a theme, and that's a heartbreak that can resonate with anybody in any time.
He's a bit of a tiger for us. He's you know, the worst thing they ever did on that old TV show was give him a badge. You don't deputize Batman.
Batman, to me, is a still character. He looks good when he's kind of like monolithic and motionless somehow, just this shadow, and then phew, he's gone.
It's that flamboyant superhero look, but he is not superhuman. So what he does is all the more impressive because he has to work with what limitations come with humanity.
At least with Batman, there is an element of using intelligence to overcome obstacles, which I really liked.
Batman's the real identity. Batman is the child whose parents were killed. Batman is the orphan. Batman is the one who's trying to solve the problem of evil in the world. Bruce Wayne is the secret identity for him. Bruce Wayne is who he is, but it's just a shell. Bruce Wayne is just passing time until Batman can take over and Batman can be who he is.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
A successful transition to a serious film, you need to explore the character of Batman. What is it that could make somebody put on a bat suit and go out and fight crime?
The concept that I like, that I threw to Tim, is we, have to start out with the premise that our guy is basically insane. And Batman is the manifestation of his insanity. And so I said, now what if the story is he meets a girl and starts to go sane? What if he suddenly realizes, hey, I could have a normal life. And he realizes it's in complete, stark opposition to the path that he's chosen for himself.
People tend to ask the wrong question. They ask, who's playing Batman in the next movie? It's kind of irrelevant, because the real question is, who's playing Bruce Wayne? That's what the movie is really about.
We were interested in not exploring the cliched aspects of a comic book, but trying to get a little bit more out of it. In the film, we were trying to juggle several tones: drama, humor, absurdity, and there are very few actors who I think can do all of that at once, and Michael is definitely that.
When Michael Keaton was cast, we all saw Michael Keaton wearing tights and going he's never gonna look muscular enough. And once you saw him in that sculpted suit, you were like, it didn't matter who. They could have put me in a suit, and I could have been Batman, because the suit defined the guy.
You know how people have different sides to their personality?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a person will have to actually lead a different life.
I love that scene because, Michael Keaton is such a great comedian. And I said, it's okay, it's okay, you can tell me. No matter what it was, I just wanted him to know he could tell me. And of course, the reality is, of course I knew who Batman was, but I loved playing not knowing.
If he walked out onto the street as himself, you'd never go, uh-oh. He looks like a guy who would need to dress up like a bat for effect.
If you took this hardcore, took a Clint Eastwood kind of a guy and put him in as Batman, you just go, well, why would that guy, a real deadly, serious kind of guy, why would he dress up as a bat?
The wonderful aspect of Michael Keaton's portrayal is that you felt almost sad for him, the fact that he looked so uncomfortable in his own skin, in his own house, talking to the people who were supposed to be his best friends, that you wondered, where does he fit in the world? That's when you see him sitting in the Batcave in front of the council, you realize this is where he belongs. This is where he should be.
Oh, look at that!
Vicki Vale.
Hi. Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
Vicki Vale basically became the heroine of the movie because she was Batman's main squeeze. When I started reading the comic books, that was just the natural pairing because of when I came into reading Batman comics.
She's a great character. I really enjoyed her every day, waking up and having to, you know, discover what mess she and Batman were going to get into today. She's spunky and feisty and determined to get what she wants. She was a lady with a purpose.
It was great because she really saw things for what they were. You know, she comes in very clear, got real ideas, and in her own way was as bizarre and as strange as the guys. And, you know, I really admired that.
You weigh a little more than 108.
Oh, really?
Let's go.
You're taking this sort of fantastic material, but trying to find a reality in it. And she was always trying to, you know, just find that real strong, simple reality. And I think it helps this kind of a film quite a lot.
Be careful.
It was a very dark movie. It was a dark movie set. I mean, it was a city. And, you know, after I was submerged in just a small fraction of it, I said, she has to be the light. She has to be the one in white. Something has to emerge from this as a light someplace. Why won't you let me in? Why?
You got it.
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? And if so, is he on the police payroll? And if so, what's he pulling down after taxes?
Alexander Knox, he was a through line, he was a reporter, he was expository in many ways. I had to give exposition, at the same time have some kind of comic relief, I suppose. And Tim let me play a little bit. He gave you that great freedom that you felt good to try something. You know, we'd always shoot what's in the script, always. And I'd, you know, suggest something if I could do it. And he'd say, yeah, go ahead, which was wonderful. I mean, the scene where I walk in to the newsroom and the guy shows me the picture of the bat. And, you know, I said, very funny, and I said,
what a dick.
Tim loved it, you know. It's like, same thing with the Curse of the Wicker People.
Everybody's always trying to be nice, you know, but Robert's got a natural kind of aggressive quality, and it comes into this picture. He's fast and very serious about doing it.
And the interesting thing is my character died at the end of the draft. I was supposed to die. And it was going so well, they said, you know, okay, we're gonna have him live. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good now. I can see it. I see Batman 2, the annuity coming up here, right? And as luck has it, they didn't use me in Batman 2. My character just kind of disappeared from the whole thing.
Vale, will you marry me?
Nope.
Will you buy me lunch?
Maybe.
I eat light.
This is Commissioner Gordon. I want him taken alive. I repeat, any man who opens fire on Jack Napier will answer to me.
Commissioner Gordon is the voice of reason in this insane world known as Gotham City. While Gordon is really forced to play by the rules, he has an ally now who doesn't have to play with one single rule.
It makes Gordon as much of an interesting character as Batman in the fact that you get a man who is conflicted between his commitment to the city and his commitment to the legal system, yet it's a system that really doesn't work in Gotham because there are so many extreme criminals and the nature of crime is just so different there. He needs somebody like Batman, even though Batman is technically an outlaw.
How about that rumor that the commissioner's got a file on the Batman? That's not true, is it?
Not for the ninth time. There is no bat. If there were, we would find him. We would arrest him.
A lot of people don't know this, but the first Batman script, the cop on the beat that first came to Bruce Wayne's aid when his parents were killed was Commissioner Gordon. There was a picture got in the papers of the boy clinging to this officer's leg and kind of waist, and the officer's arm around the boy, so that Commissioner Gordon knew who Bruce Wayne was. But Bruce Wayne didn't know what Commissioner Gordon was in his life until Alfred told him. And this is what motivated Batman to come to the aid of the commissioner.
What the hell's going on? Christ, what are you trying to do, blow the collar? I'm in charge here, not Carl Grissom.
Mr. Dent, what do you think of the theory that the mysterious Batman is a mob enforcer killing these people?
I don't have any comment now.
Harvey Dent went to the dark side. Here is a guy who was a district attorney, and through his disfigurement and how it affected his mind, became a criminal.
Now Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face. And Billy D. Williams told me the reason he wanted to do the movie is because he was going to become Two-Face in another movie.
I was looking to create a kind of a flamboyant a guy who was bigger than life. I had Adam Clayton Powell in mind when I played the character. He was not only a politician, but he was a reverend, a preacher, and he was a playboy. You talk about a romantic character.
Mr. Knox, we have enough problems in this city without worrying about ghosts and goblins.
That's not a denial.
I was happy that I was asked to participate. I always feel good about that because it's saying people, when they see me as an individual, as an actor, they're not looking at me based purely on my ethnicity, but looking at a certain quality that I might bring to a situation. So that made me feel very, very good. I really wanted desperately to do, obviously, Two-Face. I was hoping that it would segue into that. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see what I could do with it. It would have been different than Tommy Lee's. I got my own kind of madness. In fact, people would write about it, say, hey, Billy D should be doing it. But, well, that's the way life is. Showbiz, baby.
Please inform the citizens of Gotham that Gotham City has earned the rest from crime. But if the forces of evil should rise again to cast a shadow on the heart of the city, call me.